Palau. It's a nation of just under 20,000 people, the closest to Asia of the Pacific Islands, with close cultural ties to Taiwan and Southeast Asia, as well as its Pacific family. It appears Incumbent Surangel Whipps Jr has emerged with an insurmountable lead over his brother-in-law, Tommy Esang Remengesau, despite polls showing the race would be close.
It's surprising that it's not the case, because these are two very popular political figures on the island. One, an incumbent president, and the other, a former four-term president.
Whipps Jr ran on a platform of enthusiastic support for the US and Taiwan, with Palau one of the last Pacific countries to retain diplomatic ties with Taiwan rather than China. It's also one of 3 Micronesian nations in a compact of free association with the US, giving this superpower exclusive military access to Palauan land, in exchange for just under $1 billion and Palauans' ability to live and work in the US. And while the public seems to approve of the president's embrace of the West,
many Palauans, they have their families in the United States, and especially there are many young Palauans who are active in the U.S. military, and they have families here.
It seems the biggest issue for Palauans was a domestic one, after controversy over a 10% goods and services tax President Whipps Jr introduced amidst high inflation at the start of last year. This year, the president offset that criticism with tax rebates, as well as pay increases for government workers.
If you are making $15,000 USD per year and below, you are eligible for 100% of income tax refund. Those $15,000 earners and below make up about around 70% of the working population.
But of course, that isn't the only issue the next government will face. We're joined by President Surangel Whipps Jr, who looks likely to be re-elected. Ali, and welcome to the Pacific.
Ali, and a very good morning.
Another term in office is looking likely for you. How would you sum up this election campaign?
It's been one of, I think, an election where really we've been debating ideas and solutions to how we see the country moving forward. So first of all, I want to, we're blessed to have a democratic nation where we can express our opinions and debate the issues, and we are really just humbled by the overwhelming support. Our vision of, rebuilding our economy based on sound economic policies, and also the programs that we put into place to really help lift people up. I think people are beginning to understand, and really this was a vote about looking long-term, not just on short-term.
The 10% tax on goods was a key domestic issue for voters, but it didn't really seem to sway the electorate away from you. Why do you think that was?
Well, I think some of the things that we need to understand is we had a tax before. It was embedded in everything that we had. So when we launched this new tax reform, it replaced an existing system. I think some people had focused on just the 10%, but they didn't focus on how we lowered taxes for those low-income people earning less than $15,000. What other social programs that were put into place to ensure those safety nets to bring people up. And then the other thing we did is over the last 2 years, we've raised the minimum wage from $3.50 an hour to $5 an hour, which if you're talking about the lowest income earners that were earning minimum wage, really what we put back in their pocket was almost a 40% increase in income. And now what we're focused on is how do we continue to build a diversified economy that can continue to help our people moving forward.
It seems like young people sided with you this election. Was it intentional to target that youth vote?
The youth are so critical because they're leaving Palau. I mean, this is something in 2016 when I ran, I talked about is they're leaving Palau. Why are they leaving Palau? Looking for opportunities, unfortunately, in the United States. We need to figure out how we create those opportunities at home so that they don't want to leave. And we're hoping that that's what they see. They see that there's hope. So we had to make tough choices. And I'll just give you an example. This PGST, or the reform in our tax system, was a tough choice because we could have stayed with the status quo because maybe the electorate would like that. However, it's one of those decisions that we had to make because really for the long-term benefit of Palau, you need a good tax infrastructure that really captures the growth that the economy will see in the years to come.
Looking to the United States, Donald Trump has won. What does the result mean for Palau and the Pacific?
Well, I think for the United States and for Palau, we have a shared common interest, and that is, I think we all want peace and prosperity in the Pacific. And what we've seen in the United States, I think in the past, and this is just my experience when I went to the U.S. in 2013 with former President Remengesau, and I was chairman of the Finance Committee. I think the Republicans were more focused on security and defense, and they understood the importance of Palau and how it fit in with that. What we've seen under the Biden administration is also the Democrats coming on board and seeing the importance of that. So we've seen that shift. And I think now more than ever, it's really bipartisan support from both parties, understanding the importance of building a strong relationship and how we can work together to ensure that we have a free and open Indo-Pacific.
With Trump in power, it's likely there'll be a significant step back on climate action. Is this something that will be raised among Pacific Island Forum leaders, especially as climate change is an issue you've spoken about extensively?
I think that's one of the areas that we definitely, as the Pacific, need to come together and talk with the United States, especially President Trump, and share our concerns. And we hope that the strength of the relationship that Biden began with the Pacific will continue.
President Whipps Jr., thank you for joining us.
Thank you.